Hey guys, Ken from Script Life. Just want to give you a quick update today on what I've done to the 150. So, first of all, I picked up a Laguna 4000. I don't know if you guys watch Corey from Aquarium Co-op, but a while back he put one of these on his 800 gallon, and it's just kind of been sitting in the back of my mind for a while. And decided to pick one up. So, basically, this is all a temporary setup right now as far as the way it's laid out. So it's going to look a lot better later. I just basically was getting everything started. So what I've done so far is I put a submersible pump on it. I believe this one is a 960 gallon per hour, or maybe it's 700. I can't remember. It's just one I had. I got around Christmas time. What is that? A Model L7 mag drive pump. But anyway, so basically it's replacing the two Emperor 400s that I've had forever. I just use foam block filters, and it's a pain in the butt because these fish are disgusting. They eat nasty. It's constantly need to be cleaned every weekend. Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen these before, but I'll just kind of explain it. So the inlet pump goes here, runs down through, basically in the middle, or I'm sorry, around the edges. Down here is lava rock. I've also got some ceramic discs and 2 bags of carbon stacked up inside there. Basically, it comes back up through the middle. There are 4 massive round filters go all the way around, and then on top there's these pumps. Sorry, this has been a long day already, but anyway, there's these 2 handles. So these handles, basically what they do, you pull whenever you're back flushing, which is this right now. I've just got it capped off, but you pull these up and down, and these tiny little, well, I shouldn't say tiny, there's a ring it's split in half, and it goes all the way around both sides. It's got these little tiny, basically like fingers that go all the way around. And when you pull this up, it scrapes the filters and compresses. Basically pulls all the junk out. Flip this dial. Well, I should say you flip the dial before you do the handles, otherwise all that crap's going to be in your filter. Flip the dial to the backwash pump. And I have a hose, which my house is a mess, so excuse me right now, but basically this hose, that'll connect to the backwash filter. I can run this outside, I can run it in the bathroom, wherever I want, just to flush it out. But yeah, so it's going to hook up to this, do these, gets all the crap out. A lot of people run them straight to their plumbing. Probably not going to do that. Just going through the floor and all that. Like I said, this is kind of a learning experience for me as far as how I'm going to put all this together. But yeah, so for now, this thing is throwing out some serious flow. So I just want to show you real quick what I'm actually talking about. Yeah, that thing is insane. That is a ton of water being cycled through this every hour, and it's awesome. So anyway, I'm basically leaving the hang on the backs on for a couple more days. I'm going to let this thing get good beneficial bacteria running through it really nicely, and then I can remove the hang on the backs, and this thing will be filtered solely by this Laguna 4000, which, by the way, I don't know if you know what the 4000 means, but these are pond filters. This is actually for a 4,000 gallon pond. This is only a 150 gallon tank, so I'm expecting this to stay pretty clean, which, I've only had it hooked up since late last night, but this tank was pretty nasty, and I have not cleaned the hang on the backs this weekend, so it's definitely way cleaner than it normally is at this time. Normally it's just got stuff floating around everywhere. But yeah, for now, that's what I've got going on today. And this looking forward to getting those hobs off the back. They're just a pain in the butt. And by the way, just for what it's worth, I can't talk bad about those Emperor 400s. I've had these things since the mid 90s when I was raising cichlids. I mean, they have been through thick and thin. I had 4 at one time. I think I still have the other 2 out in the garage. These things are workhorses. They have done amazing work. Long time ago, I learned I'm not going to keep spending money on those cartridges. You can use them for several months, clean them up, but eventually they just start deteriorating. Foam blocks, this is what I use for my matins. Cut them down to size, throw them in there, they work great. But just to give you an idea of the mess I'm talking about, you can see just from like this filter. To get a good light. See all that brown on there, that moam? It's food, poop, I mean, it's everything. And these things, this was cleaned last Sunday. So 6 days ago, you know. Normally these Emperor 400s have a bio wheel and they have a, what do you call them? I don't know. It's like a plastic piece with a bunch of holes in it. I expanded all the holes in these so that I wouldn't have all these problems with things getting gummed up in there, because like I said, these fish are disgusting. So that's why it's just pushing out now. I don't even have them in there anymore, because that was a constant battle every week trying to flush those things out when I was cleaning the tank. This has always been my pain in the butt tank. I mean, it really has, because it's not just about the draining and the refilling. Cleaning those filters every week is a pain in the butt. It's a minimum 20-25 minute job. It doesn't sound like that long. But when I can do my entire fish room in an hour, full water changes, everything, in an hour. This tank takes way too long, and it should not. So that's kind of why I'm going this route. I think it's going to work great. I can already tell a difference just since connecting this last night to make sure. But a little bit about what I did to set it up. That's just 1-inch corrugated pond hose. I mean, it's not a, I don't know, I mean, it works well. It's 20 foot for, what was it, $12 I think it was for 20 foot. So yeah, I mean, I'll eventually have this all nice and neat. I mean, you'll see like the one hose going up the back corner. That's all you'll see, and then it'll go down, go around behind the tank, and just go ahead and connect over here. But there won't be a lot of hose that you'll see. This one I'll be putting a longer piece on here. This is just temporary, so it's shooting in the right direction. Most likely I will be adding an additional piece of PVC to slip into here. I'll probably make it into a spray bar, cap the end. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the actual spray bar on this end going that way, or if I want to do a long spray bar going all the way across the back that's mounted up high that just goes straight across, so that most of the water current is coming from the top and circling down. It's kind of one of those things with this tank with current. You're constantly adjusting things so that you're making sure there's not any dead spots, which is kind of why this is in here. Not really sure if I'm going to keep that in there with that, because that thing should be putting out enough current to keep this tank very well done. I don't mind that in there. It takes away from the look a little bit, but it's a big tank, so you know, it does a great job. You can angle those in any direction you want. My biggest problem, so that first one right now is not running. Looks like it's got some Java moss or something, I don't know, stuck in there. Which, you know, again, part of my fault, because when I clean out the tanks, these guys, I basically give them a veggie day without pellets. I don't do anything but veggies. They get a ton of duckweed from tanks that I specifically grow it in for them. If I've got an excess of Java moss, I throw that in there. A lot of times that just gets sucked into here, and then I gotta take that apart to clean it out, which is also another pain in the butt. But like I said, it is what it is. It's current. They seem to like it. You know, a lot of times it actually is somewhat helpful because a lot of the Java moss will actually come across here and land on top because it's being sucked in. These guys just swim right over on top and eat it off there. It's all in one place. So, yeah, I mean, it's give and take, catch-22. So, I'm just looking forward to making this tank way easier. I don't know if I ever told you the story of this tank, but I went to Canada back in, when was it? Late 90s. I went in for a fishing trip. Fly in, 200 miles in the middle of nowhere. Cabin is amazing. Northern pikes, walleye, lake trout. I mean, it was a great trip. Well, when I got back, this tank was sitting in the living room of my old house. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I could not believe it. My wife, love her to death. She is an amazing person. She had bought that for me, in addition to the Canada trip, and she knows how much I love aquatics and all that. So this has been my oldest tank that I have, and this is technically the second version of this, because one thing I didn't research on big tanks like this is once you've taken them down and set them back up, I think it's 3 to 4 times, you got to reseal. And that also includes with age. It's about time to reseal this one again, so I'll be doing that at some point, but I'm going to have to get a bin big enough to house these monsters for a little while. I may just throw them in my 250-gallon water storage, to be honest. They got tons of room in there. It'd be a bear to get them back out of there, to get me a big fish net or something. But yeah, so when we moved from our old house, we took it down, moved it here, moved it to where it's sitting. We redid all the floors. So when I did that, I moved it into the fish room. So that was the second time it'd been taken down. Got this floor done, moved it back. That floor, I did that one myself. So this tank was taken down and put back up 3 times. And 2 weeks later, went to Florida for a little family vacation. While I was gone, I had somebody watching the house. They got off work about 2 o'clock in the morning, showed up to check everything out. This entire tank with about $3,000 to $4,000 worth of F0 and F1 cichlids. I'm talking them pinboy frontosas, all really nice peacocks. This was my show tank, and all my other stuff was, that's another whole story. But yeah, there was about that much water in it. All the rest of the water went from somewhere right in there all the way down the hall, and you can see I got cracks in my floor now from where we had a water malfunction on the other side of this wall, and I've yet to take all that out and put it back together correctly. It just kind of got thrown back in because I was in a hurry to get all the water cleaned up and floor bleached and kills, and I don't even want to. I had to rip out drywall and all. It's a nightmare. But anyway, so my emergency fish contact, which was Chris Brule. I don't know if sometimes he comments on my stuff. He's a really cool dude. I got him into cichlids way back when. He come over here 3 o'clock in the morning and rescued all my cichlids. I mean, I owed him a debt of gratitude. It's unbelievable. I mean, you're talking a ton of money in those fish. Rescued them all for me while I was in Florida. You know, they all kind of, the other emergency contact, they kind of cleaned up a lot of the water. I mean, they soaked up as much as they could. And the new floor that I just put down was bowed and buckled, and it was absolutely jacked. So honestly, I appreciated everything they did so much. It was amazing. But tank was already down. Took it out. Had bad seals. So I asked the wife, so where'd you pick this up from? She said, PetSmart. Huh. Okay, well, let me check that out. So call up there, tell them what happened. They're like, yeah, if you can get it up here, we got one on the floor. You can just take that one home. At the time, this was $1,000 aquarium. Took this back up there, stand and all, because they told me to bring the stand because it could have water damage. Walk in the store, they helped me unload it. They helped me load up the brand new one off the floor. Home I come, set it all up, and yeah, amazing. I was floored. They actually did that for me. But yeah, so anyway, this is technically the second version of this, and I love it. I would love to have an even bigger tank. I can't see me actually getting a bigger tank because I don't even have room for any more small tanks unless I start going racks. But yeah, it's going to be a definite future type thing that I might go with something really large. I've still got to build the pond to put all these out back. That's where those are going to go. The rainbows will eventually go in here. But yeah, all the tilapia and the koi will be going in a pond out back. I'm looking, from the designs I've done, the everything that I've basically taken survey measurements of the backyard, where to put it, the excavation equipment to actually get started. I'm going to build the entire thing myself. I know exactly how to do it. I know exactly how I want to do it, and roughly, if I did the calculations right, it should be close to just shy of 800 gallons, which it's not going to be massive. I mean, I could make it bigger if I want, and that may be something I do once I get going on it, because I've got a lot of room that I could put this in. But at the same time, I don't want to go too small, but I also don't want to go gigantic where it's going to be a nightmare to do. But basically my thoughts are keep it under 1,000, and that way it'll be easier. But I have a feeling once I get in there with the little bobcat or backhoe or whatever I can get back there, I have a feeling once I start, I'm gonna be thinking, you know what, I don't want to do this again later, and I damn sure don't want to be out here with a shovel myself trying to dig all this out. So let's go ahead and make this bigger. And but anyway, like I said, goal is keep it under 1,000, and I think these guys would be perfectly fine in there. Of course, I do all my own plants, tons of plants in the shrimp room. I'll be planting it all myself. I'm gonna have an area where it's more like a natural pool than a pond, because one whole area will be just plants that I can use for filtration, clearing up nitrites, all that stuff. So the fish will not have access to that part. I was also going to put a little section in there that I can do outdoor duckweed, that I will not let the fish have access to either, and that way I can manually scoop that out. Otherwise it's going to be gone on the first day, because these things are chow hounds for duckweed. And probably do a few outdoor bins for duckweed as well, because it's really good for these guys. I'm still going to do pellets and stuff, of course. But anyway, well, I think I've rambled on. Dang, I'm almost at 20 minutes. But anyway, I was just kind of a lot going on, and just really thought I would update you guys on this Laguna, because it's kind of a bigger step for me. It was something that, like I said, I saw on Corey's channel a while back on that 800, and he ran his off of a FX4 canister, which is perfectly fine. That's probably the smart thing to do. I just had extra mag drive pumps laying around, and there's no point in me buying another canister filter to turn around and hook it to this canister filter. But this one doesn't have a motor, so you have to do that. But yeah, I have high hopes for this thing, and it's going to make my life way easier. You're talking, I actually did some backflow last night on this to test it, to make sure it wasn't going to leak. And yeah, I kept the backflow running for, I think it was a minute and a half, just pushing it outside just to make sure that it was going to work. I didn't have any leaks in the hose along the way. Checking the ball valve. I walked back over to the tank, and this thing was full. I had to put more water in it last night. But I kid you not, when I walked back in here, it was down to there already. So the current setup that I have, I think, is mainly limited by the hose, because the pump that I use to pump water in and pump water out is actually a 1,300 gallon per hour pump. And it is a massive pump. But this, because of the diameter of the hose being 1 inch, man, it can really force some water in and out of this thing. So yeah, it's gonna make draining this thing, doing water changes, I mean, literal minutes. I mean, it's crazy. But okay, I'll see you guys later, and I do appreciate the watching the videos. You saw the sign one yesterday. My buddy told me that if anybody, I wanted to actually add that part because I didn't include his name in there. I wasn't sure if he was going to be okay with that. I didn't want to get inundated with stuff, but he said, yeah, absolutely, let him know. But his name is Bruce Soneston. I can't remember how to spell that, actually. Let me think. Soneston TUN. But anyway, his email address is brucesoneston@gmail.com, but you would need to know how to spell that before you could send him something. So I tell you what, I will put something down in the comments with his address on the other video with the sign, so people will know. That way, if you're interested in a sign like what I got, hit him up. Yeah, because he is one talented dude. I'm still floored by that sign. I was in there last night playing with it, and had a bright light on there, and yeah, just 30-45 seconds of light on there. It looked like a neon green sign at night. It was just, you could literally see it was lighting up the hallway. That's how bright it was. It's insane. But anyway, I will get off here this time, I promise. And thank you for watching the update. And yeah, keep scrimping on, guys. Shoot me some comments, whatever you need. I'll get back to you. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.